Just coming to a very interesting interview that I've done with three startup founders in the middle of all of this talk of a winter of funding. How do they manage to survive? What is their survival mantra for companies? Take a look. Today we're speaking with Vineeta Singh, co-founder and CEO of Sugar Cosmetics. Peyush Bansal of Lenskart.com is with us, and Amit Jain, Cardekho, is also going to share his views. Amit, you saw that as well? Very different kind of people coming in and wanting to be entrepreneurs.
मेरे को जो बहुत interesting लगा, thing I found very interesting was there were two cohorts of people who came over. One who were from good colleges, and one who were grassroots founders, built businesses under constraint in their houses, literally. And what I found was, in constraints, the innovations were significantly higher at times. And you could see this cohort, innovating on marketing, innovating on product, and so many iterations. And there was this cohort which also was doing a great job, but some of them did not have constraints. So they were burning a lot of money, VC money aa gaya. So I found two cohorts like that. And I think the innovation has now reached grassroots level. And what people are doing is they're seeing things around them and finding real problems around them and solving real problems around them. So that is what is making the entrepreneurship actually go grassroots. You will see this season the ideas.
Give me an example. Give me an example of a grassroots innovation solving problems around them.
देखिए आप आटे का स्टार्टअप भी आया है जिसमें आटा बन रहा है लिटरली, और एक हाउसवाइफ है जो बना रही है. आपको दिखेगा कि एक व्हील चेयर के ऊपर इतना इनोवेशन हो रहा है क्योंकि उसने महसूस करी एक नीड. एक ये जो जेट स्प्रे वाला भी था वो नीड ही थी आपके अराउंड. हर जगह इनोवेशन कर रहे हैं लोग. फंड होगा नहीं वो अलग प्रॉब्लम है, बट कितना बड़ा बन सकते हैं. वी इवैल्यूएट finances from various aspects, but people are observing problems around them and innovating from that perspective. और मुझे लगता है घर घर में हो रहा है innovation. आप मान लो housewife हो, you cook well and you have some clear art. Now all this infrastructure is available as a service. पहले स्टार्टअप करते थे, लॉजिस्टिक्स एज अ सर्विस नहीं थी, वेयर हाउस एज अ सर्विस नहीं थी, आपको वेबसाइट एज अ सर्विस नहीं मिलती थी, आपको सब कुछ खुद बनाना पड़ता था. Now with these key infrastructure in place, any household can now do a startup, because अगर आप किसी चीज में अच्छे हो तो आप इस इंफ्रा पे राइड कर लो.
But you know, now
I want to just want to add to the examples. Like we saw this company that made a tap where the tap whistles every time water comes, because there are so many parts of India where there's a water shortage. So you need an alarm to know that pani aa gaya hai, right? Now sitting in Delhi and Mumbai, like us, and even Jaipur, you don't even understand the problems. So there is one thing about saying, okay, we're spotting innovation, but beyond that, we're also learning problems of real Bharat, which sitting in metros, you have no idea. I mean, a lot of us didn't have an idea that these problems exist, and somebody needs to solve them. But all of our metro entrepreneurs from good colleges were busy solving problems of consumers like us. And the big shift that's going to happen is these problems getting solved. And I'll just give you stats. Yesterday we were discussing 40% of the pictures here had women founders. In India,
amazing.
It's 14%.
Yeah.
Right? Now, so that shows you diversity. Similarly, 89% of the deals that have happened have gone to non-IIT, IIM companies, right?
89, right?
89%. It's significant when you look at the otherwise news that happens in the ecosystem. And then, like Peyush was saying, 18 years to 86 years, people are getting funded.
No, so the point I was coming to, like some great examples all of you all have spoken about. But there is one part of building for problem solving, and then there is the real hardcore challenge of turning it into a successful, sustainable business. Ideas that looked great 365 days ago are now with a big question mark in the real world. EdTech, crypto exchanges. It seems like everything is up in flames.
Tell me, has the consumption reduced? No. What has changed? See, eventually idea hai, problem is there, idea is there. Now rest depends on the entrepreneur. I don't think anything else matters. Consumption is there in India, numbers are growing. We have grown our business. Everybody sitting here, their businesses are growing. Markets have a cyclical nature. They go up, they go down, then they go up again, and they go down. These businesses, there is obviously hope, and there is no substitute. Matlab, equity investment, has hope embedded in it. Maybe, even if one out of these 10 entrepreneurs builds a large, impactful business, that's the hope we invest behind.
Yeah.
So maybe a lot of them will fail, but we will only find out by taking that risk, right? So I think entrepreneurs are great. Entrepreneurship skills, the traits, the learning has gone up, multifold. When I was 18, my intelligence level and the entrepreneurs who are coming here at 18 years of age, their intelligence level is, I would say the difference is 100x. I won't even say 5x or 10x. So now when you can see that, why won't these people build great businesses? They will. Some will learn, some will fail. They just have to be the value system and that hustle and grit and ability to fail and learn. If those are there, businesses will get built. I think बाकी ये चलता रहता है. I would say ignore the market.
Yeah.
Ignore the market.
Yeah.
Okay, he thinks it's a short-term phenomenon.
Yeah, I agree. We are all, I think, very long on the India growth, India consumption story, and the India internet penetration story. We have the cheapest data rates in the world. So I think, like from a 10, 20-year horizon, it is going to explode, and it's just waiting to happen. All of us intend to be invested in these companies at least for a 5 to 6 year time frame. So this, funding winter followed by probably some bit of inflation slowdown, if at all it happens, these are short term, and I think that's, we just have to ensure that these companies stay the course, and that's what we're checking in founders.
My question specifically is what is the parameter you apply to figure out whether an idea can turn into a sustainable business?
Yeah. So I think first is the founder. Can this founder sustain through tough markets? Because irrespective of which cycle of the market you're in, that's the most important trait, the grit. And the second is fundamentally long term, is the market going to grow and become large enough? Whatever happens in the next 2-3 years doesn't matter, because you plan as an investor to stay in it for a longer time frame.
Right.
And then I think that's when the third is where we come in, where we guide them on how to build a sustainable business. Some of them need to go back, cut costs, become profitable, figure out cash flow, get some debt.
That's interesting. I've been meaning to ask this, because on the show, in exchange for that equity, what you're giving them is guidance, mentorship, networking. How much time do you think you'll actually be able to give these companies? Does it pretty much end when you cut the check, or is there a lot more you're actually able to give in terms of your time and guidance later on?
That's when we cut the check, the journey begins rather, and there's a huge amount of journey that the founder will go through beyond that. And I think we would have made similar mistakes in our lives, similar situations in our lives, because all of us have gone through that phase where at least I was unfunded for 7 years, and I've built this company literally from scratch on grassroots, running every single department along with my brother, myself, right? So my knowledge that I've gained kind of is, handily available. Wisdom of 15 years is handily available.
So now, because all of you run very successful businesses, consumer-facing businesses, I just want to get a quick check from how you guys are feeling about what is happening right now on the economic situation in terms of inflation impacting consumer demand, in terms of fears of a global recession, etc. India is supposed to be the bright spot. So again, let me start with you, Peyush. Are you seeing any kind of a difference there? Are you feeling a little worried about 2023-24?
See, there's currency pressure for sure, rupee is depreciating. But I have, honestly, if I ignore the news, I haven't seen any dip in consumption. We have grown 100% between March to September on a monthly run rate basis. I have seen these cycles of winter and summer third time now. I think if you're building a great business, unit economics are right, you know what you're doing, you're not playing the GMV game, you're not playing the valuation game, then you are not affected. And these cycles actually keep businesses in check. It gives opportunities for businesses like ours to actually use these times to scale. Like, this is the best time for us to hire talent, right? There is so much talent. हम उतने बड़े नहीं हैं, हम उतने वो नहीं हैं, but we get so much talent in this time and we use this opportunity. So for us, this is, I would say this is spring right now.
Not
And
winter.
we are scaling, yeah, this is not winter at all. We are scaling exponentially.
Okay.
We have had the last 2 years, the highest growth years in our last 12 years, and at this scale, and we are projecting even higher next year. तो मैं ये article वगैरह को अगर भूल जाऊँ और all these conversations that happen and news, I am not seeing anything. I am seeing the best of the time,
Okay.
at least for our business, and I am being honest about it.
Right.
You know, both revenue, profitability, it couldn't have been better. And talent, you know, is just.
You're getting talent cheap because people are sacking.
I won't say cheap anymore because once the market has set a price
Yeah.
for talent, it's difficult to then, you know, bring anybody down. But yes, good people pay for themselves.
Okay. Vineeta, discretionary spending tends to get hit first
Yeah.
in a high inflation environment. Are you seeing that at all?
So, I think firstly I agree with what Peyush said. I think in a bad market, good companies tend to thrive because they continue to have access to capital, and you know, if the fundamentals are good, then you can continue growing. For us, because there are, you know, we were impacted by COVID because there the, you know, stepping out was lesser. So for
Yes.
us, it's been just phenomenal revenge buying because there was a combination of COVID getting over,
Yeah.
consumers going back offline where, you know, 50% of our consumption was happening, and thirdly it was you know, the like festive, which is basically starts from September, and you know, in India, even in the worst of markets, we are emotional spenders during festive season. So we've had a fantastic quarter so far, and we are seeing, like, you know, like again 100% growth over last year's numbers this festive season. There have been, you know, impacts on the raw material cost because of the like USD, as well as certain petrochemical related ingredients have become globally expensive.
Right.
But because of the fact that it's a fundamentally higher gross margin business, we've managed to absorb that rather than pass that to the consumer. And we're not yet seeing any inflationary pressure or slowdown which some of the lower price point FMCG companies are seeing, because again, our typical consumer is slightly more affluent, more metros, so their, you know, their consumption's not been impacted. But of course, you know, like everything is cyclical, so I'm very cautious about it because there is, I mean, inflation ends up having an impact eventually on discretionary spends. Makeup is a very recession proof kind of a category because it's very impulsive, and you have this lipstick effect where in the worst of slowdowns, women continue buying lipsticks because and we saw that in the World War as well, because it's one of those, you know, it's like a cheap thrill. It's like a, you know, something that you do for yourself, and it doesn't cost much to lift your mood. So I do feel that, you know, even if it does start receding as an economy, we'll still continue to grow. Again,
What
you know,
is the kind of reach?
I think I have a different
Yeah.
point of view on this.
yeah,
From a global perspective, there's a tech recession is there, it's real.
yeah.
And most of the tech companies in US have melted down significantly, 50% plus. Like a company which was like Meta was $1 trillion, came down to 250 billion. That's a huge shave of wealth. अब होता क्या है, this impacts India in a very different format. Each one of us got a multiple basis our revenue or something, which was defined in US. That US market straight at this multiple. And now multiples for everybody has changed out there in the stable market that you used to compare with. How it is impacting India is a little different format, which we'll see in next 1.5 years. Every one of us raised at an insane valuation in last 2 years. And all of us have cash. Now, as the cash dries up and when you go out, each one who has raised will have to grow into the valuation they have been given, and the multiple has already changed. And there is actual recession happening globally. Look at the amount of money pulled out of India in last 6 months. $30 billion is out of the country already. Our our direct investors from India have supported. Otherwise, this market would have crashed. And I was myself amazed on how much Indian investors could invest while all were pulling out. And as the interest rates go up there, now the person who's coming to India has to earn that interest plus currency devaluation. दैट मीन ऑलमोस्ट 14% रिटर्न चाहिए होगा अभी वहाँ के इन्वेस्टर को अगर यहाँ पैसा डालना है तो ऑब्वियसली दे प्ले इट सेफ दैट 14 के ऊपर रिटर्न आएगा तो रिटर्न मिलेगा तभी निकाल रहे हैं पैसा. So my viewpoint is that India from a growth story, consumption story, I am a big fan and follower, and I don't see consumption patterns going down. In our case, we are growing 70% over a very large base this year also. So I agree that the story is intact. Men will differentiate from boys in this winter, is what I would say.
Or women from the girls.
Women from the girls, yeah, you can say it either ways, yeah, of course. No, I did not mean to have it in a gender space.
She's just putting her leg.
So I think this winter will make sure that the people who have built fundamentally good businesses will survive and who focused on right levers, unit economics and getting the story right will survive now.
Yeah, cash, if you are a cash consuming business where to grow you need a lot of cash, then problems will start. If you have cash, you need to use that cash to turn profitable, and not just profitable, you need to have free cash flow.
You know, I think what would be very useful for our viewers before we wrap this is to get one survival mantra from each of you who are running successful businesses, to those who are watching, want to start a business, have just started a business and are wondering कि अगले 1.5-2 साल कैसे निकालें. So what is that survival mantra? Vineeta, let me start with you.
I think I would say cash is queen. Because there is, I mean, every founder should have clarity on what their runway is, which is defined not by, you know, the EBITDA or the profit, but your net cash burn, which is, you know, it could be inventory. For instance, in businesses like a lot of these brands come in, they have profit, but they have inventory. So they are burning cash every month to just, you know, increase the inventory that they hold. So I feel that everybody should know the runway that they have. And the biggest trick to building a fabulous business in the long term is to stay alive, I think. So don't shut down next 2 years. Do whatever it takes, because markets will change. You know, the trends will change. And the only thing that you need is to be around when things get better.
So go into survival mode.
Absolutely. I mean, go into survival mode depending on how much cash you have in the bank.
Okay. What about you, Amit?
Look, my viewpoint is quite similar, Radha, because right now is not the time to be flamboyant. Use your capital right, conserve cash, increase runway as much as you can, and build from first principles. Dhanda banao. Don't chase valuations. And people who are chasing valuations will eventually end up getting nothing, is what I feel. So conserve cash at this stage. Don't invest in right areas where you practically think you have a leverage. When winter happens, it also brings about a big opportunity, if you were to ask me, because सब लोग खर्चा करना बंद करते हैं उस टाइम पे, तो white space create होती है उस टाइम. तो identify that white space where your money can get you the biggest bang back. So I would not just conserve cash for that reason. Invest in growth areas which can be your moats that can give you the leverage when the time comes. Consumption is increasing guaranteed, so you have to take a larger pie, win market shares.
What is your mantra, Peyush?
See, I do think profitability has to be focus, right? There is, especially businesses which have been around for quite some time. So I think profitability, I would say number one. I would also say double down where you feel that you have an opportunity, because in every downturn, the opportunity to gain market share is exponential, right? You can, what you would have planned to do in 3 years, you can potentially do in maybe 18 months. So I would double down on areas which you're confident about, not necessarily opening newer fronts, but where you feel, okay, I'm doing well, this is strong unit economics, I need scale, and this would again drive more profitability into the business. And third, I think, you know, increase the talent density even more, right? Use the opportunity to really level up the game. You know, if you have a good team, make it a great team. If you have a great team, make it an excellent team, right? Get rock stars. This is the time to do that. You know, very rarely you get opportunities like this, you know, to non-linearly grow the business also, right? So you have to have that good balance.
Okay, so you can turn this into a moment of opportunity.
इसमें ऐसा करना चाहिए, persistence बहुत matter करेगी. खुद को कर बुलंद इतना कि खुदा खुद उससे पूछे तेरी रज़ा क्या है. It is that time. Just believe in yourself.
Grit. I mean, you have to really run it like a, you know, disciplined war machine. You know, and then कि बस अभी ये मुझे तो ये डर लगता है कि जल्दी खत्म हो जाएगा, right? What if this winter ends sooner? So if the winter ends sooner, you have that much little time
Yeah.
to really hire the best talent, double down
Yeah.
on growth, and have that, tightness in terms of cost. Because organization also feel, easy hota hai if you tell a leader, अब भाई इतने cost में करना है when the market is bad, because they feel you are rational. So this is the market is giving you an opportunity to give a reason which you anyways need to tell your leader कि boss do more with less.
Tamanna, the winter is fundamentally good for good companies. I'll be very candid.
Yeah.
जो फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल पे बनी कंपनी उनके लिए बहुत अच्छा है विंटर.
I want to thank all of you for joining us today.
Thank you, Tamanna.
Thank you.
Tamanna.